Real talk, the metaphor messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, a pothead like the 70s, a different kind of mind. They say we only speak in melodies.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Dead on Dave, coming at you live from Germany for Dead on Dave Live. That's right. It's redundant to use the word live twice, but I can't help it because I'm awful at everything that I do. All right. Look, there's no easy way to meander into this topic. This is going to be a heavier topic than I typically like to tackle because there's a lot of connotations. There's a lot of things that play with a topic like this. And we like to keep things light, and we're going to attempt to do that as much as we can. This is a difficult one because there's so much going on with this. And of course, you guys know I'm talking about by now the Kathy Griffin situation with President Donald Trump. Now, this is creating all kinds of waves, all kinds of controversy. People are talking about it on so many different levels. There are so many people who are speaking out against it. And it's just, there's a lot to it. And my mind is very scattered with this topic because I try to remove a lot of the political undertones from it and try to look at it from a strictly personal and just respect standpoint. And there's just an obvious failure there, but we have to talk a little bit about the political standpoint. There's a lot of different things that we're going to talk about. I'm also going to take your questions, your comments, your concerns, your hopes, your dreams, your quips, your quotes. I'm going to take that on Skype, David Vancura, DavidVancura, and of course the number 702-751-2902. Don't worry, we're going to get to all of that. But the first thing I want to talk about is just Donald Trump, since the day that he has been elected, has faced an unbelievable amount of criticism for, I think, even the smallest of infractions. Now, me personally, I am a huge, strong proponent of free speech and freedom of expression. Okay, that's the first thing that I think you guys know to be true about me. But I was also a soldier in the United States Army for 10 years, and I served under two presidents that I didn't necessarily believe in or support, but I served anyway, and I have a semblance of belief that there should be respect for that position, even if there's not respect for the man. The fact is, there was a process that took place, a process that has always had a semblance of respect. And there doesn't seem to be any respect from the enemies of Donald Trump, which unfortunately so many of them tend to have a lot of media power, which is able to paint a huge negative picture of not only Donald Trump, but really of the entire country, because we seem like a very weak country. We're supposed to be a superpower that at least should be believing in the process of democracy, and we can't even seem to get behind the office, let alone the man that is our president. And I think it paints us in a really bad light. So that's the first thing I think is very important to denote, because there's all kinds of pitfalls right there, because it's very difficult. The next thing is there's a lot of people who are talking about the fact is now Kathy Griffin has been fired by CNN in her hosting duties of the New Year's Eve special. Big fucking loss there. But a lot of people are speaking out against it because they don't like the fact that people can be fired for views, opinions, and in this case, jokes, even though we're going to talk about whether or not it was a joke. And even if it was, can jokes go too far? We're going to talk about that as well. But here's the thing I want to speak on all the people, and a lot of people that I respect on the platform who are saying things like everyone needs to stop being pussies and not get their butts wound up over stuff like this. I want to speak to that real quick because it's a little bit important. There's a lot of these people believe that good vibrations and good speak and positivity and support, positive support and words telling stories that have positive message, those have effects. Well, if positive messages have effects, well then negative messages also have effect. There's a yin and yang to everything. It can't only be true for the positive. It has to hold true to the negative as well. If positive words are able to stir or steer somebody in a good direction, well, then negative terms and negative stories can certainly steer people into a negative direction. That's just balance. it is what it is. Maybe you can make the argument that people shouldn't be too sensitive, and that's another argument, and I do think that is warranted. But I also firmly believe, being a guy who does feel that freedom of speech and freedom of expression are very important, I also think they're only protected up to a certain point when it comes to corporations and people they want to be representing their company. If you want to fire somebody that works for you because their views don't represent the image that you want to portray, I think you're fully within your right to be able to do that. It's not exactly firing for their views, because they're entitled to those views, but they're not necessarily entitled to work for you while having those views. It's kind of a weird thing, but I think it's the right of the employer, because there is so much backlash that happens from people making mistakes, and it does reflect upon your company. That's why in the Army, we had very strict things that we were able to say and not able to say about our commander-in-chief or even other people in office. You have to be very careful with that, because you are, whether you like to be or not, you are a direct representative of the entity that you are employed by. And that is something that people have to take into consideration. So all that being aside, let's talk about the actual situation. Kathy Griffin, of course, had a picture, a whole video actually, of her going through this motion of posing with a severed head, a fake severed head of Donald Trump, our president. Now, since President Trump has come into office, a lot of celebrities have gone this route. And while we've had people, and most notably, I think in the past 15 years or so, Ted Nugent comes to mind, that has said some really nasty things about presidents. I think what Ted Nugent said about Obama was he could suck my machine gun or something like that. He called him a mongrel, things of that nature. I don't think we've ever seen this level of disrespect. I don't know if we've ever seen that. I mean, like the Snoop Dogg thing where he had a guy who looked like Trump dressed up like a clown, and then he like held a gun to his head. I believe he even shot him. That was pretty edgy for me, and I'm an edgy guy. I don't mind it. I have no problem with being edgy. But I think what Kathy Griffin did goes a little bit farther. I think it goes beyond that. And I do feel in comedy, you can go too far. And I think you only have so much of a shield when you are doing something that is clearly insightful. There's a message behind that. That is not just a joke. When you have a straight-laced picture taken of you holding up a severed head in a time where we have decapitations going on all the time, you are sending a message that you want something done. And there are enough people who believe in fandom and fanaticism, not only in politics, but in an entertainment standpoint, that someone might act. You got to remember, a president has had their lives jeopardized before because of a nut job trying to impress a celebrity. Jodie Foster, Hinckley, remember that was for Foster. These things do happen, and Foster wasn't portraying or relaying a message to try and take out fucking Reagan either. You know, she was just a 14-year-old girl and taxi driver, and Hinckley was nuts. So, yeah, I understand there was also more behind Hinckley's motives as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an idiot. I do know that. But in a situation like this, where Kathy Griffin, who is kind of become the stand-in for Joan Rivers in the, you know, the LGBT community, and she's very proactive in, you know, for the gays and lesbians and all that. And she is very much in that world where fanaticism does tend to breed as well. I think you have to worry about people going too far. I think that this may have gone a step too far, because this is an insightful act. It might even be criminal. It's pretty fucking, tasteless isn't even the right word. And I don't want to beat her up too much, because I feel like freedom of expression and freedom of speech are very important. But I do think sometimes who you go in reference to doesn't matter. Her apology was interesting to me. Let's talk about her apology, because I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, because I'm a little scattered here, because I want to be able to say, you know, maybe people are too soft. Maybe people are too sensitive. Maybe there shouldn't be this much backlash. She is a comedian, And me being a comedic minded person, I try to give as much benefit of the doubt as I possibly can. But I'm struggling so hard with this because it's so extreme. But let's go to her apology. Let's go to her apology because I think that's the first thing. This is what she put out on Twitter, I believe. I sincerely apologize. And she immediately goes to the comic shield, by the way. I'm a comic. I crossed the line. I move the line, then I cross it. I went way too far. The image is too disturbing. I understand how it offends people. It wasn't funny. I get it, and I beg for your forgiveness. I have a little bit of an issue with this apology in and of itself, mainly because of the fact that she immediately goes to the comic shield. Look, you don't have to state that you're a comic when everyone knows that you're a comic. This was not a comedic gesture. There is a video of her and the photographer planning the entire thing. She reveled. Look, you do not get a prop that is as elaborate as that and take a picture that inflammatory, that reprehensible, that provoking without knowing what you're doing. Look, there's a lot of things I can give a pass to, but holding a fucking severed head, bloody, dripping, guts pouring out of it, of the commander-in-chief of the United States of America, you know what you're doing. And I don't think there is an apology there. I don't think there's a possibility of an apology there because it comes off as fake. It comes off as absolute bullshit. And there's a lot of problems with the apology for me because it does come off as damage control, but I understand the need to do so. I understand the need to do that. You have to do it. You got to apologize. And I get that. But when you're going through the steps, when you're going through the process of setting this up, how are you not, or somebody in your circle, not pulling you aside and saying, hey, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe this is going to take the wrong direction. Maybe this is going to be a game ender for us. Who knows? But nobody spoke up. And then after it comes out, then you want to try and do damage control. This is not a situation where I think damage control can just be done after the fact. It's a very difficult thing here because this is not just an off-color joke. This isn't just something that you could say and retract. You purposely held it, made an image of you, not somebody else, not with you signing off on it, but you yourself, your entire celebrity, the thing, your image that you have built your entire career to give meaning to have influence of, whatever your motivations were for getting into the industry. It was supposed to be to make people laugh, but this was certainly not that. There's not a smile on her face. There's a scowl. There is nothing here that represents comedy. It's a message. It's no different than when Madonna wanted to blow up the White House and she tried to backtrack it later. I understand you're not going to be happy with Trump. I understand that. I think you have the right to speak out against Trump. When he does something that is truly reprehensible, I think that it's okay to call that out. I think it's important. I think the conversation is very good, and especially with the president who is so active in social media. This isn't that. This is damaging not only to a very, very fragile state of communication between the parties and the public and the media, but also globally, because it continues to portray a message of just a weak, not only president, but weak policy, weak process of election, and ultimately weak country. And with all the things that are happening geopolitically right now, with all the movements that are happening in the Middle East and in Europe right now, with Brexit and all these things, having this off balance of a relationship between citizens and president for really when nothing has even happened yet. I'm still waiting for somebody to be able to point to something that Trump has done that is truly, truly reprehensible. It's all conjecture. Everything is stories. It's all reading into. There hasn't been time for anything to be fucking done yet. Everything has been second guessed. Every movement, every sneeze, every sniffle. Look, I think Trump has done some stupid shit. Like when he pushed a guy out the way the other day, and some of his body language. But that's a bit. Look, the reason why Trump got elected in the first place is because of the way that he deals with people. People were tired of the same way, at least the people that elected, which was, roughly half the country. They were tired of the same way that we have seen politicians deal with other politicians and the media. Trump was a breath of fresh air. It also didn't hurt that Hillary Clinton may have been the most unelectable fucking candidate that we have ever seen come into a race. It's a difficult one. Let's talk about the comedic part. And I'm going to take questions and calls in just a few minutes. But let's talk about the comedic aspect here, because she is a comedian. I think that the comedy shield only goes too far. And I think the comedy shield only applies when it pertains to comedy. Just because you've built your career about being a comedian, when you step out of that light and do something that is not related directly to comedy, I don't think you can any longer use that comedic shield. I think it becomes so you're an advocate for many good causes, and I support a lot of the things that Kathy Griffin does support. I think that she speaks very well, and she's a great advocate for the LGBT community. Great advocate. She does great work. But if you're a great advocate in one regard, and one of your biggest enemies is someone that you see as an enemy to that cause as well, well then, don't you got to be held accountable by the same standards when you do something that's not in a comedic sketch? When you just post an inflammatory picture like this, an insightful picture like this, that shield doesn't exist anymore. And as far as everybody being pussies who are overreacting to it, I don't know if that's necessarily the case in this. Look, people who are attacking his son, Donald Trump's son, for speaking and saying that this affected him, I think that's insane too. Why are people automatically assuming that this kid was put up to it? That's his fucking father. Can we forget all the political hatred for a second and think about that? Donald Trump does have a family. Whether you think about his family being real or fake or whatever, that's fucking irrelevant. Somewhere deep in there, there's a family dynamic. And that family had to see a comedian who has a hell of a lot of followers, a hell of a lot of fans, a hell of a lot of influence, depict one of the most terrifying deaths that we currently have going in the world right now. Beheadings are happening. They're being put on YouTube almost fucking daily, maybe weekly, if not daily. It's a real thing. And I'm not saying that real things can't be joked about, but when you're talking about somebody who is in a position such as Trump, I think that there is a little bit more that you have to take in consideration. And you certainly have to be willing to accept anything that might happen after the fact. And that goes back to where I have the biggest problem, is because she had to know this was coming. By the way, we just got a donation. Adam Taylor donated $10. Good day, Dave. Love this style of show, mate. Thank you very much. Look, I'm not a political monster, but this is something that does speak to me on many, many different levels. Because of how I was a soldier, I had to deal with something very similar to this type of thing. Look, I've seen friends of mine in the Army fight when Obama was elected because I had friends, both black and white, believe it or not just white people, who would say, that's not my president. And they were completely fucking shut up. It's like they were shut down over this and almost got into physical confrontations because of that belief, because it was a stupid thing to say then, especially for a soldier. And it's a stupid thing to say now. That's not my president. Why? Because you didn't get your way? This process exists and we participate in it. If you participate in it, you got to have some semblance of respect for whatever the outcome may be. It just doesn't make sense. It's mind-boggling. How can there be so... And look, and I understand too, that it only appears that there is this much negativity over Trump. There's a lot of people who are very happy with the job that Trump is doing, especially people who are tied to him financially. I mean, you look at the economy, there's really not a lot to be worried about at the moment. Now, anything can turn on a dime, and a lot of people have said that it's probably going to at some point. But, you know, first 120 days, whatever it's been, I don't know. I don't know if this is warranted. I don't know if what Snoop Dogg did was warranted. I know for a fact what Kathy Griffin did was not warranted. And somebody should have fucking known better. And she's got to own that now. And that's the thing. You guys know me by now, that the one thing that I am the biggest proponent of, even above free speech, even above all of that, you have to own the consequences that come with your free speech. Just because you have the right to say and express whatever you like does not mean that you do not have the right to also be criticized, because you do. And in some cases, when you have a corporation involved, you have the right to be penalized and fired. Because a company does not need to have you representing them if that's the message that you're going to portray. So there is so much to this conversation. It's why I really didn't even want to do it, because you're kind of all over the place. You know, it's one of those really weird ones. You can go and scream about how disgusting all of this is, and I'm trying to be as fair and balanced as I possibly can, because you want to scream about, man, this is absolutely, like, part of me wants to just rage over this. Like, why can't we have the smallest semblance of respect? But I can't do that. Not because I'm afraid of any backlash or anything like that, but just because of the fact that I don't feel that's right either. It's a very weird situation. And I do firmly believe that comedians can go over the line, because I do feel that we see very frequently where comedians, and we've seen this with John Oliver, we've seen this with Jon Stewart many, many times. Colbert's another one. And I don't mean to single out only lefties here, but I mean, they tend to do it a little bit more regularly than the right. It's just, and that's okay. I'm not saying there's no examples on the right. I'm saying the most prominent figures tend to be on the left, and they kind of meld this comedian, influencer, political commentator hybrid, and they pick and choose when they want to use what to be important. You know, you'll make a joke, but if you have a political message behind it, you don't want people to take it as a joke, because now you want to be taken seriously because you feel you had an important political message. We've seen that with Jon Stewart multiple times. But then when you go too far, you always want to be able to hide behind the comedian shield. And I think that's wrong inherently. I think it's apocryphal. I don't know. It's a tough one. And we'll see what happens with it down the line. I do think the right measures so far have been taken. I don't think that Trump did anything wrong in his response. I actually think for a Trump response, the things that he said on Twitter were kind of reserved. They were kind of reserved. I think CNN has done the right things so far. It's going to be interesting to see who else gets on board and how far this is going to go. Look, Kathy Griffin can recover from this, mainly because of how much hatred there is for Donald Trump. So it's a tough one. Let's go ahead and go to the calls. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys think about this, because this is a very interesting conversation to me, and one I might regret getting into with you guys. Let's start with, you know what? Let's start with Tommy C 2010. This is probably a bad idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. Tommy C 2010, you're live with Dead on Dave. What do you got?
Honestly, I'm kind of riveted about this subject also, Dave, because the fact is that if this was done with Obama's term, can you imagine how much racist stuff would be brought up?
Of course.
And, honestly, okay, this goes with the Mike Pence situation when the kids get up. I posted on Facebook. I know, didn't you see that I posted that on Facebook?
Let's just say I did. Yeah.
Huh?
Let's say I did.
And I said, if I was Mike Pence, I would say every one of those kids that walked out, they could not graduate. That's what I would have done. I would have been an asshole. I would have been one of the biggest assholes. And I said, you know what? To every kid that walked out of this ceremony, you know what you can say to your kids? No, I did not walk across the stage. And no, I did not graduate college. Because I was an asshole.
No.
And I put politics ahead of my career.
I look... I think it's protected. You have freedom to express your if you want to walk out in your graduation ceremony, that should not negate all the years of work you did in your collegiate career. I get where you're going with it. I understand the spirit of it. I feel that is protected. I feel that should be protected. You should be able to make a statement against your as long as you're not throwing garbage at him and you're not holding up his severed head. I think simply walking out because you don't want to hear the message said by him. Yeah, you probably shouldn't do it from a natural respect standpoint, but as long as you're not taking it any farther than that, I don't think you should be punished for it. Not the rest of your collegiate career. I mean, they'd still work their asses off to get to that point. Do I think it's crybaby-ish? Yes, absolutely. Yes, but I do think it is protected. I feel it should be protected.
I feel like the amount of the young generation don't have respect for this country and for what the past people have built for this country, the freedoms that we have. And I feel like the younger generation, just because they hear about politics or they hear about from the liberal media, and it's like it really kind of aggravates me because it's like the younger generation doesn't have respect. They don't have respect for what has been currently been restored. You know what? If you don't want to have freedoms, go over to another country, because there's a lot of countries where you can't even open your mouth. That if you even walk outside and say anything against the government, they'll black bag you and put you in a room where there's not exactly somebody that's going to exactly hear what you have to say. He'll just
speaking out is part of the process, though, Tommy. Speaking out is part of the process, but I think it needs to be done in a respectful manner most of the time. And as long as it doesn't go to physical violence, then it's not the worst thing in the world. Now, as far as you were going on about young people, the topic of this one, remember, this is about how old is Kathy Griffin? She's in her 50s. I know that. She's got to be in her 50s. It's not just a young anymore. Trump is so polarizing, and he's not divisive in the same way that Obama was divisive. I believe that there was a very divided nation, but people were more respectful because they were so afraid of being called a racist. Well, now you don't have to worry about that because Trump is everything that you are being told that it's okay to hate. He's rich, he's white, and he's powerful. Everything that you're being told right now that is completely okay to demonize, that's what Trump is. So that fear that we had of criticizing Obama, at least some people, especially in the media, that no longer exists. So now it's kind of open season and everybody can do what they want. Hillary would have had the same shield because she's a woman. Trump doesn't have that shield. So, but it's good to see. Now, all that being said, it is good to see that there is a line still. Apparently that line is holding up a fucking severed head. That's the line, and I'm glad that there does seem to at least be a line. Tommy, I gotta say, I'm impressed. Very, very, very well said overall. May not agree with all of it, but very well said. Surprised me, buddy.
Well, here's the thing. Some people think that I'm stupid, but I'm not stupid. And I look into politics also. I have my own opinions.
We got a donation, Tommy. Hold on one second. Sylphit donated $7. When you feel like the world doesn't give a shit about you, you have no reason to care about the world. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah, it can be. But that's also falls into the whole entitlement, because that's just about how you feel. Like, well, this president got elected and I didn't get what I wanted, so the world doesn't care about me, so I'll no longer care about the world. That's very slippery slope-ish. That's very entitlement-ish. I don't necessarily think that's how you intended it, but it certainly is how it's used. People get their panties in a bunch so fucking easily right now about so many things, and they seem to take it personally. There are so many people in this country who took Donald Trump's election as a personal attack against them that it was frightening. That was frightening to me. Tommy, great job. Man. You got anything else before I get some other callers?
I kind of laugh that people say, I'm going to move to Canada. I'm going to move to Canada. These people say that they're going to move to Canada. Oh, where are they still? In the fucking United States still.
Oh, of course.
And you know what? If you don't like it here in our country and you don't like who's being our president, then get the fuck out, you assholes. You have something against, this country elected him because they thought he was different. They got tired of the same bullshit. You know, when you eat bullshit every single night, every single day, you know, you wonder, I wonder if there's prime rib out there. I wonder if there's actually something delicious out there that you can sink your teeth in. Well, you know what? That's what Trump was. He was a big, fat, delicious, juicy steak that everybody wanted a piece of.
Maybe not necessarily a steak, but he certainly was something that was never offered on the menu before. And the one thing I will say is I don't agree with the if you don't like it, get out mentality. I don't like that mentality. I don't think that's proper either. Just because you disagree with something doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be a part of it anymore. I just think as long, like I said, disagreement is what politics is all about. And you need to be able to do it in a way that's not deconstructive. And right now we're bordering on that line where it is deconstructive because we are portraying our country as an unbelievably weak and frail nation. And that
I believe Trump is going to bring it back. I think in my opinion,
he's not given a chance.
Trump is going to bring it back where it's going to be very firm and strong. And but honestly, I tell you what, it's hard for people to say they're Trump supporters because all the Hillary supporters are going to come after you, or the liberals will come after you and just bash you on stuff like that. Because you see, even if I make a post on Facebook about Donald Trump, I get attacked with 1,000 messages, and I say, I wonder how many of my friends are liberal on Facebook. Put this, like this post if you don't like Donald Trump. Like this post if you do like Donald Trump. And
social media in itself is very left-leaning anyway, Tommy, and that's another thing. There's a lot of people that I know right now who are getting taken off of Twitter and in some cases Facebook, a little bit less on Facebook, but certainly more frequently on Twitter, just because of their political ideology, and they tend to all be on the right. So I don't know. Tommy, I appreciate it. I want to get some other callers, man. Go ahead and tell the kids where they can find you if they want to hear more of your insight.
Okay, I'm Tommy NC 2010 at YouTube, and also Tommy NC 2010 on Twitter, Tommy NC 2010 at Instagram, and also the real Tommy NC 2010 on Twitch. I'm now going to be streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time.
Nice.
So remember to subscribe and support and stay positive, folks. Remember, you're watching the one and only Copious One, Dead on Dave.
That's right. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
He's about to give you a motorboat.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to motorboat anybody. They can motorboat me with my boobies, though. They can get their faces up in here and just brrr it up. All right, Tommy, take it easy, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Good stuff. Tommy NC 2010. Not a bad job. I don't really agree with most of what he said, but still, it was good to hear from Tommy, and I think he did a very good job. I think he surprised a lot of you out there, I'll tell you that. Big shout out to the chat. I see Xantha Claus, Jade Rabbit, Vincent Martin, Monkey of Miss, D-Rock. I know I saw Ace Trainer Liam, who is coming in after 12 hours of Pokemon action. I'm going to see if I can one-up you on Saturday, buddy. We're going to find out. I think Saturday is going to be my long Pokemon streams. I'm going to see how long I can go on Saturday. That'll be a lot of fun. Dr. Faciller, Rourke is here, Sarah Small, Doodles, Gears of Gizmo, Adam Taylor, who donated earlier, Jay Walker, all you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I know this is a kind of a difficult topic because you can only have so much fun when we're talking about a fucking decapitated head. Even a fake one. Let's bring in somebody that I know is going to have a lot to say. We're going to try to limit him a little bit because we know if there's one guy who can, go toe-to-toe with me as far as like talking in novels, it would be the great Strangle. Strangle, I'd love to hear what you have to think on this topic, or if you have something else, that's fine too. What do you got? You're live with that.
No, I'm going to stay on topic and I'm going to keep it short because I don't think I got long. So the way I see it, it's complete class snobbery.
Yeah.
Complete. She looks like she has such contempt for anyone who voted for Trump.
Oh God, she does. She's almost admitted that publicly. D-Rock donated $1. Ace Trainer Raid. Thank you very much, D-Rock. Thank you for everybody who's raiding me today. At least you're not flat earthers. Please continue, Strangle.
I was watching Sargon of Akkad, and I think he's quite a smart person. He's a liberal himself.
Yeah, he is.
So we can't pull out the far right bigot card.
Sargon's smart. He's a smart guy.
Smart guy. He's a smart Brit. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how this is essentially, if you voted for Trump, I want a job or I want to make my country prosperous.
Mm-hmm.
Her response is she's going to behead your fucking dreams.
Right. Right.
Actually, it kind of seems like she's looking directly at the person. Trump is not the focus of the picture anymore. Trump is dead. She's looking at you. It seems as though it's incitement of, look at this. This is what will happen to you because you are who you are. This is who you voted for. You are not acceptable in this society.
When you really break down the picture and you really look at all and you're right, because the head is really not the focal point. The focal point's her eyes.
She's looking directly at the viewer. She's not looking at Trump. Trump is insignificant.
It is. It's an afterthought. He's done. This is a representation of how I feel about you. Yeah, I can see why people would take that too.
It seems as though he was first. Now we come for you.
I could see it being taken that way. I do think that might be a little bit of an oversensitive way to look at this as well. Sometimes a cigar is a cigar, and maybe this is just as simple as I want to cut his fucking head off. But I definitely think that this is not as simple as, ha 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 ha, isn't this funny? Here's his severed head. It's not a joke. It's not. There's no comedy shield here. I don't think that can be used. Am I wrong in that? I don't think that comedy can be used.
I didn't see it as a joke. I thought of it as a political statement.
Absolutely.
The first time I saw it, her using the defense of it being a comic, when you make that defense, it's clear that you're backpedaling.
Yes. The first thing she said was, I'm a comic.
Statement. Yeah. I mean, I'm all for free speech. I'm not saying, I'm all for free speech, but...
Right.
But the problem here is incitement.
Yes.
I mean... This is the tolerant left at this moment. Good job. You've tried to make a joke. You've likened yourself to ISIS. You hate our democracy. What is wrong with you?
There are too many connotations here. Yeah.
I can't think of anything more on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's like, okay, so Trump, no, that's not okay. Let's liken ourselves to ISIS. Let's hold up a severed head. Good job. Good job, you.
Yep.
Class snobbery in action. And they've nearly traumatized an 11-year-old boy by making him believe that they decapitated his father because it's a very realistic head.
It's a very realistic head. It's a very look, they spent some coin on that, man. They spent money. There is no... That's why I have a problem with the apology. Because you got to know what you're doing. To put that much effort into something. And then, I don't know if you saw the video of her and the photographer joking around about everything. I mean, you could tell she was clearly nervous about it.
No, it was... She was motivated.
She had to know it was coming, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely.
I don't know. It's a tough one. Adam Taylor in the chat says, it's just a bad joke. Who would take cues from Kathy Griffin? Well, I'll tell you who would take cues from Kathy Griffin. Every single person that supports her for supporting every advocacy group that she's in front of. She is a huge... you may not know her audience, but she is basically taking over for Joan River in that LGBT fucking huge community. She is a
LGBTQIIA+.
I'm not using the extra fucking letters and no, I'm not going to sign language things for fluffy vagina. I'm not doing that. But she has sway, and she's board heads on many different organizations. When it comes, so she has actual fucking real world. She's not just a comedian. She actually has sway. So no, I don't believe this is a bad joke. I don't believe it's a joke at all. There's a political message there, man. That is not a joke. Where's the joke? Where's the setup? Where's the punchline? It just, where is it? There's nothing else there.
The thing that it reminds me of completely, and it's just it's a less graphic version of it and a more personal version of it, is when, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Madonna or someone who said, I've long been thinking of blowing up the White House. So, okay, yeah, let's just... I mean, it's got both have got common terrorist connotations. This is what the left has become. The tolerant left. This is the tolerant left.
That was Madge, by the way. That was old Madge there. Yeah, that was Madonna. That was old Madgie. Yeah, it's pretty... And look, there's been a lot of people who have said things like that. And I understand there have been people on the opposite side who have said inflammatory things about presidents past. I mean, like I talked about it earlier, what Ted Nugent said about Obama towards the end there, when he said, suck on my machine gun, and, called him a mongrel and other really negative things. And those were wrong as well. They weren't any less wrong. But when you have a graphic visual like this, it's a different thing altogether. And you can liken it to the Ray Rice situation when he told everybody what had happened, that he beat up his girlfriend in an elevator, and nobody really cared. But then when the video came out, Everybody cared because a visual is moving. Because what's the first thing you went to when you saw the visual? You didn't hear about anything. You didn't have to hear about it from somebody else. The first thing you go to is you look at her facial expression, and you're able to make connotations and inferments, if that's a word, about what she's doing. You're able to make judgments of your own of what she's doing because of how much is in this picture. It is a disgusting image. It's an absolute disgusting image. So it's tough.
I can't see how anyone would want to. I mean, Trump has done some very terrible, terrible things, such as and I say very, very terrible. I mean things that make him look like a twat. He looks like a retard. The whole Fifi situation where he was clearly taking a dump late night and he tried to tweet something.
I hate this.
That's fine, but the response to that is not hold up a severed head.
No.
That's the line. We figured out the line.
The Fifi thing is so stupid. It's a goddamn tweet that he fucking put out that he got it typoed and then went to sleep. Jesus Christ. That's a bigger story than this. I mean, no, it's not. It's not. It's really, Trump has said some stupid things in his past that have been used. He has ideas about how to best protect the country by limiting immigration. That doesn't make him a racist. That doesn't make him evil. These things that are being portrayed about him on massive scales by the media is not helping anything. It's making my country look unbelievably fucking weak. How can anybody take our shit seriously right now? Anybody?
No. Here's the thing, though. Even if it was him being a racist, or even if it was him expressing some fucked up opinions, the response to that is not to hold up a severed. What's the word? A severed.
I agree. A decapitated head.
Reference to him. Yeah. I mean,
I agree. Look, if he was killing Muslims and throwing Mexicans into the water, sure, then let's get some decapitation going on. I think those are completely fine. But he's not a dictator. Hitler. Right. If somebody would have had a picture of Hitler's head being held by their hand, I think that would have been cheered. I think people would have been okay with that.
But he's not done anything of that caliber. He's just expressed, but my feelings. Let's chop his head off. No, okay, that's done. That's where we draw the line.
It's kind of a reverse on the whole softness thing, because I have seen some people talk about the reaction to what Kathy did. They're being too soft in that, but really, it's the action, the reaction of what she did is the soft part, because I mean, her reaction to the things that she doesn't like about Trump, that are mostly all personal, by the way, is to make an image of her chopping off his head. That's pretty fucking soft. That's a soft-minded thing to do. You could just give a speech. You could speak out rationally. You could do things like, you could even organize fundraisers to look into whatever you want to do. There's plenty of things that you could do. But to go to a visually stirring image like that, one that you had to know that a massive backlash was coming, I don't get it. I don't get it. So
when Trump does something wrong, you criticize him.
Absolutely.
And people understand the criticism, and it's fine. Yeah. We don't hold up a severed head because it makes your own position look weak.
I think that we can all mainly agree that severed head should probably be the line. You know, I think that would be the line. I think the line was actually what Snoop did. I think the line was
shooting a Donald Trump clown.
Yeah,
I mean, potentially.
I think that is probably the line, and that didn't get as much play as I thought it was going to get. I thought that was going to get spoken out against a lot more, and it didn't. And you know what? You can make the argument, the rational argument, that because that action wasn't condemned by the media at all, it kind of gave Kathy the leniency to do what she did.
Yeah.
Sometimes a statement has to be made. Sometimes consequences have to be paid. Sometimes a message has to be sent, because you may not respect the man, but let's at least respect the fucking office. You know, it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just the soldier part of me fucking still talking, but respect the office at the very least, if not for ourselves, but at least for our country. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Strangle, anything else before I get you out of here, buddy?
No, I think I've droned on for long enough.
Oh, no, you did a great job, pal. You did a great job. Thank you. Strangle everybody. Great job out of him. Great kid. We are taking your calls on Skype as well. If you want to call in on Skype, please use the number David Vancura, DavidVancura, or that number, because that wasn't a number. Number is 702-751-2902. Also, go into my Discord, and I will pull you up just like this. Here's a guy that's got to have something to say. Cunt fart. You're live with that on Dave. Can't wait to hear what you got.
Like, it's actually bullshit. As like Strangle said, it was like class snobbery.
Yeah.
Like she's basically shitting on like the working class, because like who fucking voted for Donald Trump other than racists? The working class, because like they thought like here he'd probably make more jobs for us, which he kind of is like.
Yeah. But even aside from that, it's not just snobbery from a class standpoint. It's snobbery for the entire. It's disdain for the entire system. You know, I think the bigger thing here is the fact that she's able to do something like that morally, knowing that this was not a rigged election. This seems to be a very clear-cut case of Donald Trump won this fucking thing, and you have no respect for the people that voted. Yeah. You have no respect for the process. There's a problem there.
And it's like, the Russians got him into power. No, he got into power himself. Like, and there's like going, the Russians did it because like they tried to get him out.
Oh God, there's a new story every day. There's a new. That's the thing. There are so many fucking conspiracy theories, and that, by the way, that is the reason why none of these are ever going to stick. If you just stick to one conspiracy theory, maybe you got a chance of making that work. Maybe there's enough evidence to prove that. But when there's 75 fucking stories, and by the way, this is the point. They're not supposed to be proven. They're just supposed to discredit him. They're supposed to discredit him enough where nobody will take him seriously to the point where he will make an actual mistake. That's the point of this. It's a blitzkrieg in the media. That's all it is. It's a lightning war. It's a lightning fight. That's the point of it. It's to continue to make up things that might have a semblance of believability so you can make as much discrediting news as you possibly fucking can. That's the point.
Yeah.
So.
All right. That's really what I had to say. But before I go.
Yeah.
Chloroform, a brick, or a roofie. Which one works better?
It all depends on how big the chick is. See you later, Cunfart. I appreciate that very much. That was really bad what I just said. Don't, and I give 0 fucks. Kirsty Graham. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
Hey, Dave.
Hello, lovely.
Hey, I just thought I'd call in because you spoke a lot about the LGBTQ community, and I'm part of that. So
yes, you
I
are.
Thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. I'd hate everything she's done, to like everything I've seen, and what I hate more is that I've seen people celebrate it, and it really turns my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, she has a big voice in that community, you know, and I believe she's straight too. But I know.
Yeah, and that's what makes her such a huge ally, is that she's always been like pro us, despite the fact that she's not one of us, quote unquote. And up until today, I respected the hell out of her, and I loved her. And then I seen this today, and it was like, oh shit! Like, it was almost like a hero worship kind of thing, because I love the fact that she doesn't care, but I think that's where the problem lies, is that she has such a huge influence over my community that people aren't really seeing what she's done. They're just seeing somebody they hate and somebody saying that this is what they'd like to do to them, and they agree with that feeling to an extent. And I think she thought that because she's such an advocate for so many people, that she would be protected by that. And I think that's why she had the balls to do it, because even though most people are condemning her, her audience are still praising it. So in a way, she's
I think the extreme version of it, but sensible people. I think like anybody, even if they are far on the left and they're very, very liberaled out in a very major liberal way, even if you have even the smallest bit of sensibility inside of you, there's hardly any way that you could back this. And I don't think that this is a case of being soft either. I think that there are lines. We do have lines because I talked about this earlier. If positive messages can influence people positively, then negative messages absolutely 100% can affect people negatively. That is, it can't work only one way. So influence exists both in a positive and negative connotation. So it's, man, it sucks. This just sucks. I hate this.
I mean, what I was thinking about as well when you were talking about like the time we're in, I think social media is playing a huge part in that. Because places like Tumblr and Twitter, but especially Tumblr, 99.9% of people on Tumblr all have the same mindset.
Right.
And then it's a bunch of minorities that have came together and they have really villainized cis white males, quote unquote.
Oh yeah.
To the point that somebody with like sketchy background like Donald Trump getting into power seems like, from what I've seen on Tumblr, like a personal loss almost.
Well, there's no benefit of the doubt because he has no shield. He's got no shield. Everything that you are being told that is wrong with the world, being white, rich, and powerful, that's what he is. So he is open game. There is no protection for him. Zero. And what you said about social media, it's 100% true. Let's think about this in terms of, in just a second. Let's just go back 30 years, 25 years, even 20 years, even when we still had the internet, but we didn't have this social media connectivity that we have now. If something like this happens, and let's say Time Magazine or somebody like that is stupid enough to run a picture like this, how many days would it take before there was a global reach where everybody knew? It would take maybe upwards of a week. Maybe upwards of a week. This happened in minutes. And that's a tidal wave. This is not a slow burn where people are kind of chirping about it here and there for a week, reading articles about it, coming up with different conclusions. No, this is knee-jerk, instantaneous reaction by hundreds of millions of people. Hundreds of millions of people instantaneously. Do not ever underestimate the power of that. And shame on anybody who is fucking, even for a second, questioning anything coming out of that family. Because that is not, I'm probably more angry about that than anything else. The people that are shaming his family or speaking out against his family for really, I mean, horrible. Jesus. Say what you want about Melania Trump. Say if you want to say that she's a gold digger or whatever, that's still her fucking husband. That's deplorable. Their 11-year-old son has to wake up to that. You know, he's got a phone in his pocket. Everybody's got a phone. So he goes on Yahoo. That's the first thing he sees.
And even if he goes to school, like, school kids are horrible and they all have phones. They'll all be showing it to his kid. Like, it's horrible where, like, when I was younger in my house, if something bad happened, my parents just wouldn't tell us.
Yep.
With social media now, that's just not possible, especially if you live in a high-profile family like he does. I really do feel for him. I think as well, like, the fact that most people who follow each other, like minorities of each kind, not even just with the Kathy thing, but like every time something happens that might seem even just the tiniest bit socially unjust, it's instantly spread out. So instead of you having your normal life where maybe 5 things that you think are really horrible happen, or however many things happen, you're suddenly getting hundreds of thousands of other people's little tiny instances as well, and that's building up a lot of like anger within minorities. And I think that's where, again, and because Donald Trump has no shield, there's so little. It's a really weird time to be alive right now. There's just so many different things that are just building that are pot on my fuse at the same time, because suddenly everybody does have a voice, and not just to their immediate family and friends, but to the entire world, and it's kind of terrifying.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. I always like to look at things in the micro and the macro. I tend, that's just kind of how my brain works. So I thought about this a little bit because I found this an interesting thing. I try to go back to see how far that this action is still reprehensible. So I took away the presidency. and let's say Trump isn't the president. Let's go back 4 years ago, where he's just the host of The Apprentice. If she still does this, how disgusting is it? And my brain instantly goes, it's equally as disgusting. All right, well, let's go back 10, 15 years ago, where he was just mainly a business mogul, not really a celebrity in the same way that he would become, but he's absolutely known in the business world, and he's a huge name, whatever. How much of an impact does it have? How deplorable is it then? It's still the same amount of deplorable. So I went back even farther in my head. What if he was just an up-and-coming business entrepreneur that nobody really knew who he was? How disgusting is it then? And my brain instantly goes, still absolutely as disgusting and deplorable as it was with the presidency. And then finally I went back, what if it was me, who has, I'm nobody, but what if Kathy Griffin took my head, your head, anybody else's head, and put the exact same amount of effort and work into making a likeness that was very realistic and made a picture holding your or my head for the world to fucking see? And the answer that I came to was it was still every fucking bit as deplorable. There is no difference in the micro and the macro in this. It's just disgusting.
And I have seen the argument of some people saying there's always art about politics, but this isn't really, it's not that it's not art, because there's a message there, and
this is not art.
But it's almost like snuff art, and there's a reason that's not in the mainstream media.
Maybe there is some artistic here, because I mean, art all the time has political messages tied to it, all the time. So it wouldn't, if you want to categorize as art, sure, but I mean, even some art is fucking wrong. You know, it's like art doesn't give you that shield either. Not in this case. Not when there's an insightful message behind it of murder. At the core of this message, it's murder. There is no other fucking way. You like, if you just have just a head with no blood on it. Let's say you take away some of the graphic imagery of it. Let's just say it's just an obvious fake dummy head of Donald Trump, and you hold it up and she's got a little bit of a smile, a smirk, something. There's a different message, a different connotation that can be laid upon this picture then, because there's more things to read into. It's more of a playful thing, cutting the head off of a snake or off of an entity. But when you add the blood and gore and the depravity to it, it's murder is the only fucking thing that you are rallying behind here. And I think that's where the problem is.
Yeah, I agree there. There's a lot of things she could have done different, but I do feel as if it's Kathy. If she's going to do something, she does it whole hog. She doesn't ever hold back. And I don't think she expected to get the reaction she got, but I still don't agree with that.
I think she did. I think she expected it. I still don't think she cared. I want to reference something I just saw in the chat too. A guy I do like, Adam Taylor, he says, "Hi, I would not care at all. Like, it makes zero difference to me." What about your family?
Yeah.
What about your family that they had to see? Is your entire family like that has no I mean, that's a disturbing image, man. I mean,
like, imagine your grandmother like worrying about that because she's seen that picture all over whatever. And
not even just the picture of itself, but what it can mean. Because Kathy Griffin has enough sway that maybe somebody says, "Hey, that's a great idea." Definitely. So now your family has to worry about your safety. Maybe nobody in your life worries about that, but that's actually kind of sad to me. And I don't mean that as a knock. I'm not trying to say anything negative about you and the way that you think things, take things personally or whatever. But it's, to me, I just think that there is a line, and I don't know. He says, yeah, they wouldn't care. Maybe I know that's not true. I know some Australian people who have sensibilities that are just like mine. I don't know, Adam. I don't know, buddy. I don't know. That's very bizarre to me. Even for Australians, that seems bizarre to me, Adam. But fair enough. To each their own. If that's the way you feel about it, you're more than entitled to having that outlook. And, you know what? Maybe you should be congratulated for it, because you might just be stronger than all of us. Or you might be a psychopath killer. I have no idea. I won't be inviting you over for dinner. But you're more than welcome to share your thoughts. All right, Kirsty, final thoughts?
just that it's deplorable and it shouldn't have happened and it shouldn't happen again. This should be a line, but with how everything's going in today's age, I don't think it will be the last we see over the next 4 years.
Yeah, I agree. I got some bad news for you, but I got a feeling that it might be 8. I'm just saying. I know as crazy as that might sound right now, don't be shocked if he were to get reelected, because there's
I wouldn't be at all. I've actually said
there's no other
before.
candidates being built. Everyone's just worried about trying to fucking to
survive.
Take him, or take him down, just about his own fucking personality. That they're not putting up a candidate that could crush him. It's hard. It's a difficult one. All right, Kirsty. He probably won't be reelected though, if I had to guess, because I don't think he's going to want that job a second term. This has got to be unbelievably stressful. Can you imagine the stress?
I know.
Jesus. Oh,
I mean,
boy.
they had to know that it was going to be difficult, but I don't think anybody's seen the world going the way it has in the last. I mean, it's only been 120 something days. It already feels like a year.
Yeah, it does.
Like
it's because we're coming off that
crazy.
election. That election that was so taxing and draining. It was tough. All right, Kirsty, thank you very much, Dal.
Also, just after you go off, me and Will are going to do our Smacked Up Live about Raw and SmackDown if you want to come give us a listen.
Oh, good plug there. Make sure you guys go check out Kirsty and Will. I assume that'll be on the Gaming Fault channel here on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Make sure you guys go check them out. They're going to be talking that wrestling because I didn't watch all of Raw and SmackDown this week because I couldn't. I tried. But I'll be live this weekend for a prediction show for Extreme Rules. Just recorded a prediction show with Andre Corbeil for Extreme Rules as well, by the way. I think a very good episode. And Ace Trainer Liam will be joining us for the Extreme Rules prediction show on this channel on Sunday. So make sure you're there for that. See, I had to plug directly to you. That's why I didn't get you out, because I want you to be here for that, Kirsty. It means something to me.
Yes, I will be. Of course I will be. Wrestling.
All right, love you. Take it easy.
See you later, everyone. Bye.
She's so great. I love her to death. Let's go to Critical Mess. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got? What's up, buddy?
How's it going? Yeah, I'd like to talk about the comedy aspect of this entire thing. Well, her defense of this is that this is a joke. She's a comic. She's making edgy jokes. But the thing is about it, it's not a joke. If you look at the entire clip, I do not see anything that's even trying to be humorous about it.
Right.
So what she's essentially trying to do is saying ooh, ISIS beheading, isn't this funny? No, it's not funny. Literally, you're just pretending to decapitate someone and saying that it's a joke on the internet, which is just fucking ridiculous. And the other thing that I kind of hate about this entire situation is her apology video.
Oh, God.
Her apology video is faker than the moon landing. She just looks at the camera and goes on saying I'm so sorry, I crossed the line, all that sort of stuff. She's not sorry. If you look at her face, she's looking dead at the camera and just going on saying oh, I shouldn't have done this. This was bad. And if you look at the like to dislike ratio on that, she has so many dislikes. Yeah. So many people are against Kathy here. That's what I'm glad about.
It's the Daddy of Five apology all over again. Nobody
it is.
believes it. And you guys know that this is an important conversation because we're having this conversation with John fucking Oliver right now. And I mean, come on. It doesn't get any bigger than that. No, I agree with you 100%. There is no comedy here. And I'm a comedy guy. I fancy myself a comedian. I've done stand-up in the past. I love comedy. I consider myself a student of comedy. I can't get there. I can't. And I tried. I really did. I went for a long time. I debated about even doing this video because I was like, how conflicted am I with the comedian aspect here? And then after, watching everything and reading everything, I just couldn't get there at all because there has to be a line somewhere. I don't believe in this.
It is an interesting subject, especially because she ended up, her apology just kind of showed that she had absolutely no spine. I would have had more respect for her if she would have just kept up the video and said that she agreed with that. But because enough people said that she hated her, she just backed down immediately, had a produced video. She was obviously reading off of a script and just deadpan looking at the camera. It was just horrible.
I think because she got the word that she was going to get fired, and I know a lot of sponsors have dropped her. Apparently Squatty Potty has dropped her. Her name is so bad that it cannot be associated with taking a shit. That's how bad this is. Think about that for a second. Her name is so bad that it cannot be associated with shit. That's amazing. That's amazing.
That
CNN
is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
How can you think that holding up someone's head in a time where you have ISIS beheadings, all that sort of stuff, of the president of the United States with blood all over his face, this is obviously some sort of incitement to violence. This isn't a joke. Anyone who claims this is a joke is an idiot.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go that far. I think there are some people who, because there's some people that I respect in this community that I've read some of the things that they tweeted. And I don't want to get into a call out where I don't even want to say it by name, but people that I have a lot of respect for that have said, everyone needs to stop being pussies. It's just a joke. I have a hard time getting there because I do believe that there are lines. I do. I believe there are lines. This is not just a mannequin head that's just being held up in a playful there was effort into this.
No,
there was a lot of money put into this, and it was supposed to send a message, and it clearly fucking did. You wanted buttons pushed, beep fucking beep, motherfuckers, because buttons got pressed.
When it comes to comedy, I kind of feel like you should be able to make whatever kind of joke you want to.
Sure.
But just the whole thing about her making this incredibly detailed model of the president of the United States, then just backing down and oh god, she has no integrity.
If you can look and find anything about it where it could be a joke, like if there would have been any speaking about, the only thing that I think that you could possibly point to and say, well, there was obviously some sort of joke here, is the setup video where she shows her and the photographer, like, she makes jokes like, we're going to jail, we're not getting through this. So she knew it was coming, but even that didn't feel like it was setting up a joke. It felt like she was being prophetic. Like she knew it was going to happen because she knew how bad this was. So if I'm okay with people making jokes about Trump, I'm fine with it. He's an easy fucking target. I can't find anything that links this to a joke. I only see a political statement. That's all I see.
The whole Madonna thing about blowing up the White House? Yeah, that was not funny, but it was intended to be a joke very clearly.
I think hyperbole. I maybe not necessarily a joke, because I do believe that she was trying to get a message across, but I do think it was not supposed to be taken literally. You can definitely see the angle that was a joke, but with this one specifically, I don't see any comedy in it whatsoever. No. It's just saying like, "Oh, look, I'm holding up Donald Trump's head and looking at the camera." Because there's no room for interpretation, because you're literally holding up a bloody severed head. What interpretation is there? There's nothing.
There isn't.
Left.
It's what there is.
It's very blunt. It's literal, in all of its glory. I don't know. We shall see. You got anything else for us there, Critical Mess?
Well, that's just pretty much it. Subscribe to Critical Mess.
That's right. You need to have a J and some other stuff in Critical Mess so I can say it's an anagram for fucking John Oliver.
Nah, I'm going to start making videos again, so that'll be fun. I'm going to make a video on this topic and pretty much say what I've said on here.
Well, tweet it to me and I'll tweet it out, because I like you and I like the way you present things. You got a fantastic voice, bud.
All right, thank you. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the show.
You too, bud. Good stuff. This will be interesting. Let's bring in Super Tobes. What's going on, buddy? You're live with Dead on Dave.
How you doing, Dave?
What's
up? Can you hear me?
I can.
All right.
Sexy, you know over me. There. Yeah, I do. That's why I didn't set this up with the liberal land joke that I would usually set up. Yeah. I don't want to tank you before you get a chance to speak. I have no idea where you're going to go.
No, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, okay? I am a liberal, but I'm as liberal as, like, Sargon of Akkad, okay? And I am pissed at this bullshit, okay? I adore Kathy Griffin, okay? She's funny, and she's done a lot for the community that I'm in. But for fuck's sake, okay? You're not helping the case of the left.
The case people, for anybody.
Yes, the people who are trying to actually be progressive in terms of economy, politics, foreign policy, whatever the fuck it's called, whatever the fuck name it, that are on the left can't get a word out, because we need to keep you in check so we can criticize the right for the things they do that we disagree with. You are making us uh, basically prove our ethics by shutting you down, which gives us less time to actually debate with the right, to talk, to bring up policies, bring up problems. When every time I turn on the internet and it's someone saying something about Donald Trump that's insensitive and sends a terrible image of the left, I want to just go and hammer and like shove a hammer down my throat.
The tolerant left, the left that likes to constantly talk about
Yeah,
fascism and oppression. I mean,
quote,
it doesn't get much
the quote
more
unquote
fascist
progressive left.
Yeah, it doesn't get much more fucking intolerant or oppressive or fascist than cutting a motherfucker's head off. You know, it's
exactly like what the fuck? What the fuck? We are trying to get a guy elected that has our values. If the moderates, the people who are in swing states see that, oh, the left is very violent, or the left is doing shit that's very Marxist or very fascist, the fascist they're claiming not to be, they're gonna vote for the right, no matter what, you idiots. Like,
well, let's even take away the politics for a second. Let's take away politics just for a second. Let's look at it just for a plain, simple morality standpoint. She doesn't make a good case for human fucking beings. That is,
for human decency.
I'm sorry.
No.
It's just like,
yeah.
I'm trying. I've tried to defend her in my head in any way that I possibly can. Because I at times I have liked Kathy Griffin, but a lot of times I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. But overall, I as a comedian, I try to give her a little bit of leniency, but there's just nothing here, because as a human, as just a person walking around on the planet, I just find this deplorable personally. I just find it, it's because of the lengths that she went to. It's how intricate this head is. It's how graphic and bloody and gory. It looks like an ISIS video. That's what it looks like.
I'm not even joking. When I first saw that still image of her holding the head, I didn't focus on the head part. I focused on her face, and I thought Kathy Griffin got cast in a horror movie.
Right?
It was. I was looking through, and it's a Hollywood report. It's was it the Hollywood Reporter who put this on? It was just the image in the Hollywood Reporter Twitter, and Kathy Griffin got cast. And then when I saw that you said, Kathy Griffin apologizes, and I had to recheck it, and then it's Donald Trump. It's supposed to. Oh my lord, this is painful. This is painful, and I don't think anyone on the left or on the far left or in the moderate left should stand up for this shit.
No, I think there are some things that clearly cross the aisle, and should be a unifying message that. This is just wrong. And I think this is it. She may have done Donald Trump a favor here, but when you look, but here's the thing. She didn't, because more people seem to care about Kav Fifi more than they do about this. You know what I mean? Like, how fucking crazy is that more people seem to care about a typo than they do about one of the most reprehensible things I think I've ever seen portrayed about a president. Maybe the worst thing I've ever seen, not just about a human, but a president. I don't know if I've ever seen anything worse. I honestly.
Exactly. Like, when the NATO meetings, he was the laughing stock. He was the laughing stock of the entire thing, because of the way the media portrays him. Now, I know he's an idiot and he's a very unpleasant person to be around, but at least as you said before, you need to respect the office.
Right.
If you have genuine criticisms about Donald Trump and you can convey them through satire, do it, but don't cross the line where you're going to murder him or you demean him and his family. That's horrible. That
don't
defies
defeat your own
decency.
argument. Don't defeat your own argument. You know, by having these type of reactions, by doing something so extreme. you're defeating your own message because they can't hear your message over that visual. That's her legacy now. That's going to be a hard one to be buried, man, because if there's a smile on her face, if there's anything that you could take that it's not just a fucking a clear endorsement for murder, because that's the only thing I see, and maybe I'm wrong for thinking that way, but I just can't go anywhere else, man. I can't. My sensibilities don't allow me to. Trust me, I tried. I almost didn't do this show because I'm like, man, am I too staunch here? Can I give her any wiggle room? I can't.
I mean, we give people a lot of power because they have a title of comedian.
Sure.
And I think that's bad.
We give them a lot of pass.
Yeah, yes, and I think that's bad. They're not omnipotent, and they do deserve genuine criticism.
Sure.
And but a lot of people, and you know, I like comedy. I watch a lot of comedy, I right and left. But if someone crosses the line, people need to speak out. And if that line is so dire as to the murder of a public figure like the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, people unanimously need to speak out against it.
I agree with you 100% there. It's deplorable. It's deplorable. All right, man. Hey, I appreciate the call. Let me get some other callers. You got last thoughts, words, anything like that?
Just a quick question. What do you think about Joan Rivers?
I was a fan of Joan from a comedian standpoint. A lot of things she was a train wreck, and she had a lot of issues. But honestly, I think she may have been the most talented female comedian to ever live. Some of her writing is to this. I mean, look, anybody who ever Jesus Christ, she filled in for Johnny. You know, it's legendary. A lot of things that she did, and Kathy's kind of the natural successor to her in a lot of ways. Definitely got her demographic because Joan was.
They were like
very
best
big.
friends, weren't they?
Yeah, she in fact she did the roast of Joan Rivers. She hosted the comedy roast for Joan Rivers, which was very funny.
Didn't she say something at the Didn't she say something at the funeral as well?
She did. She spoke at her funeral. I remember what Joan said to her. You took my gaze. You took my shtick, and then you took my gaze. That was pretty funny. I was a big fan of Joan. So
I love her.
It's kind of funny. I love comedy, and there's one guy that I constantly go back to. That as funny as he was, he's been proven right over and over about geopolitical fucking nature. George Carlin. George Carlin called terrorism. George Carlin called the media. George Carlin called politics and foreign policy. You go back and listen to the shit that he did 2 fucking nights before 9/11. Jesus, man. Just call him Nostradamus. It's unbelievable. He had it all pegged. It's crazy. All right, Super. I appreciate it, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
I'm still waiting for my line so I can be your 1940s fucking radio guy.
Yeah, okay. I'm still working on this. I'm still hunting down the camera rental place.
Okay.
This
Take
is
your time.
it's giving me a migraine at this point.
Take your time. Just busting your balls, pal. Take it easy.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
No problem.
Good night.
Let's bring in this one should be interesting. Let's bring in the Mormon guy. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got? Mormon guy. Mormon going once.
Hello?
Oh, there he is. Mormon guy. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
Discord sucks. Anyway, I wanted to just say a few things. One is I can't think of anyone else doing this and any other head putting there, and this would be okay.
Right. Yeah. I tried to get there
what's
myself.
weird.
Yeah.
Like I can't name anything like that. The other thing is, like, she does this in another country. She could go to like a human rights court.
Oh yeah.
To get prosecuted for something like this.
Yeah, she so much disdain for the process that got Donald Trump elected those same laws that protect that is also going to be protecting her from any type of actual legal ramifications. Yet she doesn't seem to care. You know, it's pretty crazy.
And so I'll say one other thing. Do you remember Bill O'Reilly's interview with President Obama?
Yeah.
That whole mess?
Oh, yeah.
And that people got mad that he didn't call him Mr. President.
Right.
You remember this?
Yeah.
So I just, you know, like, let's just say, like, hey, this is too far, and we can all agree, and then we don't have to see Hillary Clinton's head cut off. We don't have to see Chelsea Clinton's head when she runs.
We shouldn't.
We don't have to see any of this.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And look, it's not to dismiss any other actions that have ever happened against any other president, but I think this is in another category. I think this is just something different. I think it's something a lot more drastic. And the fact is, it's happened because it's been allowed to happen. The media takes free fucking reign, basically making up daily goddamn stories to try and discredit Trump in any way, shape, or form. They don't fucking damn the things that have happened in the past that have led up to this. I talked about earlier with the Snoop Dogg situation. There's been a few others as well, and none of it's gotten damned, and it's allowed the escalation to happen. And now we have this, and this seems to be the damnable line. But then Cav Fifi happened, and nobody cares. It's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think my last thing I want to say is her losing sponsorships. I mean, if Michael Phelps loses Subway, Rosetta Stone for smoking weed,
Right.
I think it's fair that she loses some sponsorships for trying to chop off a person's head.
I love, or not trying to, but successfully doing it on a mannequin to incite an actual fucking political message. I agree with that. I just think it's funny that even Squatty Potty doesn't want anything to do with her. I love that. I think it's great. It's poetic. That Mormon guy, do you got any things you want to plug or before I get you out of here?
No, but you're good. So have a good day, Dave.
Thanks, man. Take it easy. Good stuff. Let's bring in Jay Walker. Jay Walker, you're live with Dead on Dave. What you got? Jay Walker, your mic never works. Jay Walker, you make me look like a jerk. Jay Walker, you're making my brain hurt. Jay Walker, if you were a chick, I'd make you squirt. Come on, Jay. What the fuck? You're fired. You're so fired. Let's go with Mike. Oh, no, we're not. Yep, there he is. Oh, well, shit. Oh, wait. There we go. Mike Fly Plus. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
Oh, hey, man. I'm a bit behind on the whole, like, I came into your show about a good 30 minutes late, new phone, fixing notifications, all that stuff. But I kind of got caught up at this point.
Okay,
what's
I would
going
think
on.
so, yeah.
Yeah, but it was pretty, it's pretty sick what Kathy Griffin has done. I mean, I've never even like my own personal comedic tastes. I've never found her funny in the first place, but I've never found her, particularly offensive. But this is just way over the line.
Yeah.
No. Like it's absolute insanity. And like on the note that people would be willing to defend that and everything, that like luckily for me, because this is the thing, every time Trump does anything, even if it's like super minor, like with the Cav Fifi.
Yeah.
Whatever that, I guess that's a typo, right?
It was a typo in a tweet, and it seems to be getting a bigger reaction than somebody basically calling for his decapitation.
Exactly. It's insanity. But anything small like that, people on like my friends on Facebook will just go insane over it. And at this point in time, I just ignore all of it. But if I see a single person defending this, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm just going to go absolutely insane, because it's not like I like Trump or I hate Trump. I'm practically indifferent to him because he has not done anything major enough to make me love or hate him yet.
Agreed. Aside from the economy still being kick-ass, other than that, I mean, for some people, that's all that matters. If he creates jobs, for some people, that's going to be enough. And right now, the economy is kind of fucking
That'll
banging,
be great.
so.
That'll be great if he does that. Like when he won the election, like before he won the election, well, actually, okay, let me fix the timeline because I got to fix my brain real quick. Basically, when all the candidates were running, the major ones, Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, Trump, and whoever of the 20 other Republicans were running, I was all aboard on the Trump hate train. But as it got closer to him getting elected, I became more and more different because I was starting to see how the media was painting him and how he really was. And while I do think he's kind of an idiot, I don't think he's any more idiotic than Bush was.
Right. Right.
Like,
yeah.
he's not any worse than what we've had before. So what I told all my friends who were freaking out about it at the time, because I live in Miami and a lot of my friends are Hispanic and stuff, and they were all freaking out about it. I told them, look, worst case scenario, America's going to be exactly the same as it was when he was elected to when he gets out of office.
So many
Best
people
case
seem
scenario,
to take it
he'll
personally.
fix some stuff.
Yeah. It seemed like so many people took his fucking election as a personal slight against them. That's so snobbish. It's so arrogant. It's so fucking arrogant. This election was not about you personally, Kathy Griffin, or anybody else. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. Jesus, it drives me nuts. All right, Mike Fly Plus, you got anything you want to plug before I get you out of here, buddy? Great call.
No, not currently. I'm doing like a Beatles cover series on my channel, but that's on hold for as of right now indefinitely.
Alles clock, Homicide. Thanks a lot, buddy. Have a good night.
You too.
Final call of the night. Let's go to Obvious Mimic, who is both deafened and muted. Will he unmute himself, or will I just get out of here? That is the question. We don't have an answer. Well, actually, we do, because he has not undeafened himself, so he goes bye-bye. All right. That's going to do it on all the calls. I appreciate everybody so far. I want to end the show on something else, though. I don't want to end the show on all the negativity and all the craziness and stuff. Let's end on something great. We did get some donations throughout the night, so let's open a pack of cards. You guys want to open a pack of cards? I want to open a pack of cards. Let's go to the card cam. Bloop. Yeah. There's my old-ass keyboard. Yeah. We're going to open up a mic. No, we're not. I don't know why I said mic. We're going to open up a pack of German Pokemon cards. Sun and Moon, Stunde der Wache. Now, last night, we did this when I got invaded by the Flat Earthers. And we pulled this card. I wasted this pull on the fucking Flat Earthers. Let's do better than that. I am recording. Do not worry. Let's do a pack of cards, and then we'll get out of here. I did not get my new box yet. Hopefully, it'll be there tomorrow. It'll be here tomorrow. I did get another set. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of that. Look at this. Look at that. This is a rather rare one. This is a UK import. That's right. It's Arceus. And there's a couple Generations packs in that. And we will unbox that tomorrow during the Pokemon stream, because there will be a Pokemon stream tomorrow. I promise you that. There's your promo code in case you want to use it. There it is. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just want to go out on a nice note, you know? And doing cards is a great way to have a good night. Energy. That guy. I don't have... That looks like a Wurst head. A Wurst bear. I don't know. Looks like Love Disc, but not Love Disc. There's a Rapist Cotton Ball. There is a very aggressive fish. There's a stoned fucking rat. There is a very adorable, weird little mouse thing. That's adorable. Aw, look at that Formio. Aw, that's so cute. There's your reverse holo. That's nice. And the rare is a nothing. A Pangoro. All right. I got one more German pack. I want to do it. We got enough for it. We got like $17 tonight, so that's enough for a couple packs. So let's do the last one. I can feel the good vibrations. We're going to get a good card. I can feel it. I could feel it calling in the air tonight. There's your promo. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Got a whole new booster box coming tomorrow, guys, so we can open this last pack. Energy. Eflin. Rapist Ice Cream Man. A Dragon Ball Radar. dabbing my chap. Me in a swimming pool. A very cute. Man, that's adorable. That's actually really cute. Oh, that's not cute. That's the opposite of cute. That's going to haunt my fucking dreams. Holy shit. There's this guy. Reverse hollow Pam Pam. Aw, so cute. And final card. Nothing. Nothing. Oh, well. Not bad, though, guys. There you go. Those are all the cards that I have. I'm not going to open up that other box, so there you go. That was fun. It was a little disappointing. I can't believe I wasted this on the fucking Flat Earthers. What made I would have loved to have pulled that tonight. Damn. Well, there you go. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Dead on Dave Productions. Hopefully you guys had a fun night tonight. We're going to be doing some Pokemon streaming tomorrow, and I'll probably still be doing a Dead on Dave live as well. We will see. All depends. All depends on how everything goes. I got an interview I got to do tomorrow as well as nothing. I just got to do Pokemon stream. So we'll have that tomorrow. Fucking Rebel or Rockstar. Rebel. Hopefully you guys got something out of tonight's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comment section. Also hit me up on Twitter at DeadOnDaveV. That's all I got. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next time right here on Dead on Dave Productions. Like, subscribe, and share. And remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends like Ace Trainer Liam, Andre Corbeil, Jeff the Huff Huffman, Real Talk the Metaphor Messiah, and my good buddy Tommy C. We'll see you next time. And peace.
Here's your winner and the